Hi, everybody. I'm going to give you a little video here that discusses section 3.5 that you read in your book. So if you haven't read that first, and then come back here and I'm going to try to clarify some things. So that section is about passing functions to other functions, which seems like a weird concept, and it's something that we did not discuss in the algorithms and programming class. It's a little bit more advanced topic. So I want to talk about that, and I'm going to break that down into a few things that you need to make sure you understand. So the first concept I want everybody to get is this idea of a function handle. So if you think about what a handle is in life, right, we have a handle to something. It's a way that we get a hold of something, right? So in MATLAB and in a lot of programming languages, you can have a handle to something, like a handle to a function. That means you kind of have a way to connect to it or a way to get to it. And specifically, we're going to talk about, when we're talking about function handles, that we can actually have a variable that contains a function, or maybe a better way to say it is it refers to or has a handle to a function. So you think about variables in programming languages or in other things. Variables usually contain a value, right? So variable A contains the value 3 or something like that. It always contains a value that, or at least everything we've talked about so far just contains a value. But you can actually have a variable that basically, again, contains a function or refers to a function. So here's an example down here. Let's say we have an M file that we've created. This is one you did for your homework last week, called tank volume. And that M file contains this function right here called tank volume that takes in two parameters and calculates the volume of a tank. Okay, so we've got that file, and that's a normal function called tank volume, and then we can call tank volume, right? Well, we can actually create a variable that has a handle to that function, and that's what I've written over here. The way we write that is we create some variable, I just called it TV in this case, and then we set that equal to an ampersand and then the name of the function. And what that means is this TV variable refers to this tank volume function. So now we got a variable that kind of, in a sense, contains a function, or at least refers to a function. Okay, so TV doesn't contain a value like 3 or an array of values. Okay, it contains a function. It refers to a function. So if we did that, jump over here to MATLAB and show you. Here's our tank volume function right here, at least the way I wrote it. Again, this is just the function that calculates that volume of the tank that we went through last week. So if I say, I can just call tank volume like usual, pass in some random numbers, okay, and I ran tank volume and got back my volume here. But if I do something like TV equals ampersand tank volume, okay, now we see that TV is this function handle with this value, and we can even see it up here. There's TV, and it says that it's referring to, that's what the ampersand means, or at, pointing at, kind of is the way I like to think about it, this other function. Okay, so that is now a function handle to this function tank volume, and now I can actually say TV of 1, 2. And that's another way that I could actually, in the end, call that function, because TV, it has a handle to that function, and so we can call it just like we call tank volume. Now, you may be wondering, well, why would I do that when I can just call tank volume? And that's a totally valid question, because at this point, there'd be absolutely no reason to do this. But that's what we'll get to next. So why would we ever want to create one of these variables that has a handle to a function?